Well, good morning, everyone. How are you? Once again, welcome to another live this morning. And it's always good to have you guys come on with us live if you can. And we appreciate that, of course. And we sure appreciate folks listening to our podcast. The doctor is in. Brahim, Michael, 1 and 2. Surprise, surprise. Andrea, number 3. The Trinity. Tina, Nova Scotia. Kevin, right up there at the top. Janice, right at the top. You guys are great. Sandy, Fergus Falls, Minnesota, and you're in our top group. Nick, from our staff. Nelly, how are you? Rosa from Montreal, bonjour. Marlene, how are you? And Marina, how are you? From Deer Lake, Newfoundland. Fran from Orangeville. Norma from Texas. Carol from West Virginia. Georgie from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Sandy from Chilliwack, British Columbia. And Linda is on. Linda's listening. Imagine that. Sharon, Kansas. Chantal, Ottawa. Karen, Peterborough. Wendy from Markham. Judy, Massey Drive, Newfoundland. Bonnie, Annandale, Minnesota. Judy, how are you? Frida. And Milika, Stouffville. Sandy, Washington, Vancouver, Washington. Carmel, Newfoundland. And I didn't see that. Kim, Manitoba. And Betty Lynn, how are you? Donna, Park Hill. Rita, Wasaga. And Kim from Welland, good morning. Carol, Moncton, New Brunswick. Lise, how are you? And Luella from West Tennessee. Marianne from London. Veronica, how are you? And Wendy from London, Ontario. Barbara from Kansas, good morning. Lisa Marie. Linda, oh, those Lindas. And Linda from Pennsylvania. Rosalinda, in the clouds again. Francis Vaughn. Dave Muskoka. And I can't see it. Thea, how are you? John. Rainy Elgin, Illinois. Carrie from Nebraska. Yvonne from PEI. And Nancy, Gore's Landing. And Barbara, Atlanta. I bet you it's hot there. Heather, Miramichi. Mary. And I can't see from Newfoundland. Sorry. Lorna, Calgary. Couple of more, guys. Edith, how are you? Beverly, New Brunswick. Marilyn from Edmonton. Darlene, how are you? And I think that was Nita from Chatham. Okay, let's get to a couple of research items that I want to talk about. Okay, so one of them here, a new study, meta-analysis study, meaning good studies because they look at other studies. And this has happened to me in practice, I'm going to say 500 times. Maybe not that many, but I think close to that over the years, where oncologists have told their cancer patients not to take any supplements because it might affect the treatment, okay? And I've had many patients tell me that their oncologist told them no probiotics. Might interfere with the treatment, cancer treatment. And look, you can understand I was in a difficult position, but I used to tell my patients, well, you need to question your oncologist, okay? Because probiotic, they're going to wipe any chemotherapy, any radiation, you're going to wipe out all your bacteria. It's going to wipe it out. Surely it would be a benefit to replace that bacteria. And I was right. Okay? Meta-analysis study looking at cancer treatments specifically and showing, listen to what it says. This is the headline. Probiotics minimize the side effects of cancer treatments. Not only are they beneficial because you're replacing bacteria and you want to replace the good guys, it minimizes side effects of cancer treatment, chemotherapy, and radiation. You get less side effects. Why wouldn't that be good? Is there anything that probiotics don't do? They're on your side. Now remember, we did a paradigm shift, I'm going to say 20 years ago. I used to tell my patients, okay, go back, guys, into the 1990s, even in the 1980s. I used to tell my patients, take probiotics twice a year. They're good for you. And nobody even knew what they were in those days. People were eating yogurt, but they did that because they thought they were going to lose their belly fat or whatever. Women love yogurt. I couldn't get over it. And I said, well, most yogurts got so much sugar, that's feeding your bad bacteria. And there's not enough probiotic in a yogurt. Yet in one capsule of probiotic, okay, I've done this on radio and whatever, on videos too, teaching videos. In order to get 50 billion bacteria, and you'll never get a multitude of strains, because in yogurt you'll get some acidophilus. Nothing wrong with that. But you would have to eat 16,000 4-ounce yogurts to get what you would get in a therapeutic probiotic. Are you going to eat 16,000 yogurts? No, you're not. And get multi-strains? No, you're not. You can't. They're not available like that. They're therapeutic because different strains do different things. Now, one of the things, this study, and I'm glad it came out because I was saying this a long time ago. An oncologist, I know you're scared of every supplement. Don't take supplements. You're taking cancer treatment and yada, yada, yada. I heard it all the time. And to the few oncologists that I could actually talk to, I said, well, the best thing you could give your patients is tell them to take a probiotic. We got to be careful. It might interfere. No, it won't interfere. You got trillions of bacteria in your body, not billions. You got trillions. You're wiping that out with chemotherapy and radiation therapy. You got to replace that. And anybody that you know, guys, anybody that you know, if they are, they're cancer patients, and to get the diagnosis of cancer, one of the things that I recommend are probiotics. Not only for treatment, therapeutically. It should be part of any cancer protocol. Not only preventing cancer, but if people get cancer, it is a protocol. It's a treatment. Now, I'm not saying it's a cure. I didn't say that. But it certainly should be part of a protocol. Okay? Along with vitamin D. cancer patient that I ever talked to. Two things for sure they were getting advice for was taking probiotics and vitamin D. And actually, the third one is DHA because of a study done in Europe, and they buried it. That what happens, cancer, okay? Cancer cells, guys, okay? This is in a nutshell, and it's a little bit more complicated than this, but this is just, surface. Cancer cells are what? Ravenous. Okay? We knew that back, I wasn't around, but we knew that back in 1928, that cancer cells are ravenous. They need glucose. They need sugar. They want something quick and fast, like a teenager. Give me something quick. I'm hungry. Cancer cells are ravenous. Okay? And we know that. And they search for sugar. Now, when a tumor, okay, those are cancer cells. But tumors, they are looking for fatty acids. Tumors. The Trojan horse that you can put into a tumor is DHA. The tumor looks for that, and then DHA destroys it. It allows a Trojan horse to come in. And guys, if you have it, some of you might have this. If you have it, I have it. I got to go get it. I'll post it again. Because every time I post it, what DHA does to tumors, it's incredible. Now, where is that? Where are we with that? Why isn't that headline news, and why aren't people talking about it? I don't know. Well, I got a good idea why it's not popular, but it should be. So when it comes to cancer, I got my shirt on. Don't feed the bears. Don't feed the bears. Cancer. And listen, some people who are a lot smarter than I am have talked about cancer being a fungus. The tumors are made up of yeast, fungus. Okay? I've listened to pathologists that believe that. Every cancer's got a fungal base to it. Makes sense. You put yeast in bread, what happens? It grows, grows, grows. So you don't want to feed it. So part of the protocol, don't feed the bears. Don't give them any sugar. Don't give those cancer cells fuel. Nothing quick. And I put this in my book, Sun, Steak, and Steel. Okay? Have you got a copy of it? You haven't got a copy of that book? Sun, Steak, and Steel? What did I say in there? Cancer hates steak. It hates it. Now, if you got our email this morning, okay? Did you get our email this morning? We talked about a study that came out of Harvard study. And it gave me a migraine. That's why we had to write about it. father and son got migraines. Tony Jr. We talk about it. Did you get a migraine, son, when you read the study? Yeah, so did I. It gave me a migraine. The silliness that red meat is associated with cancer. That's been around a long time. But this one said in Harvard, red meat is associated with diabetes. Guys, I got an instant migraine. My blood pressure went up. My cortisol went up. I was stressed. And it's so silly. Because you guys know this, but I got to say it again. Red meat consumption in North America is down 30%. Diabetes is up about 300%. Red meat consumption is down and diabetes is up 300% since 1980. It's insanity. And yet they're blaming, this study, blaming red meat. Oh, red meat, it causes cancer. Plus, it's a big factor in diabetes. It's just the opposite of that. And then I bring you to a country that has less diabetes than almost any other place in the world. I'm bringing you to Hong Kong. You know where the highest consumption of red meat is in the world? Sudbury? No. It could be because I'm here. Okay? Red meat consumption is up in Sudbury. I promise you that because of me. Okay? No. Red meat consumption is down in Canada and the US by 30%. Red meat consumption, the highest in the world, is in Hong Kong. I've been there. They love their red meat. Okay? People think, in Hong Kong, all they eat is rice. Nah. They're the highest consumption per capita of red meat. They have one of the lowest rates in the world of diabetes. Hello? And then you get a study in Harvard. And you know how many people will run with that? They don't like meat. They don't like red meat. It drives them crazy. They love their salad. And guys, I got to push back. It's not true. It ain't true for cancer either, because cancer hates steak. It just can't survive on it. There's nothing in steak that cancer likes. And I'm telling you, and it's not a matter of being a carnivore. It isn't. But it's a matter of what your body needs. You see, think about this for a minute. Every battery that you have in your body are called mitochondria, right? In your cells of your heart, your brain, your bones, whatever. You all got all those cells. You got trillions of cells and they got batteries. They're called mitochondria. And they're looking for fuel. And whatever fuel you give them, they'll take it. But if you want the right fuel, you better give them eggs, meat, and cheese. EMC. because that's the highest source of nutrients in the world. It comes out of the animal kingdom. And I know it goes against the grain. I know that Harvard doesn't like it. But that doesn't make it not true. It's true. Your cells are looking for the best fuel, and especially your brain. I'm reading another study. I won't go into it today because I want to do a little bit more detail on it. The amount of Lewy body dementia, the increase of that dementia is catastrophic in numbers. And part of it, guys, part of it is when the brain has bad fuel. What did they call Alzheimer's? Type 3 diabetes. And it really is this: your brain cells swimming in a sea of glucose that it can't use. It's like swimming in the ocean, but you can't drink the water. And when we send glucose up to the brain, and that's like, and too much of it, the brain is swimming in an ocean of energy or fuel that it can't consume. And those mitochondria up there are starving to death. And the brain shrinks. And we've been teaching that consistently for a long time. Guys, do you think I just made up eggs, meat, and cheese? The whole reset, by the way, coming back to diabetes, the whole reset was based on diabetes. I had so many diabetic patients, and I started the reset with them, not with my other patients, not at the start. I started a 30-day program. I said, okay, we're going to watch you. We're going to supervise you. I want you to take your blood sugar every day, a couple of times a day. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to change your fuel. You're a diabetic. Here's what we're going to do. You like eggs? Yeah. Eat lots. You like meat? Oh, yeah. Eat lots. You like cheese? Yeah, I like cheese. Good. You're going to love me. I said, do you like bacon and eggs? Oh, doc, yeah, I really like that. But my doc, I said, stop. We're not going to talk about your doctor right now. Do you like bacon and eggs? I love bacon and eggs. I said, have it every day for breakfast. Every day, 7 days a week. What? Oh, yeah. How many eggs, doc? I don't care. You're a diabetic. You want to have 3 or 4 eggs every morning? Go for it. And don't worry about the cholesterol. And it was a huge success. You know how many referrals I got from my diabetic patients, talking to other diabetic patients and a few of the physicians in town? Well, you got diabetes? Go talk to Dr. Martin. They were open to it. I said, well, we put them on a supervised 30-day eating program meant for getting diabetes under control. It works. It works. And I would love to do a cancer diet for cancer patients. Of course, I'm big time into prevention. I'd love to be able to do a cancer prevention diet, but the diet when you have cancer is the same thing. You like eggs? Yeah, I love eggs. Good, eat them. I want you to live on them. I want you to live on meat. I want you to live on cheese. You like cheese? Oh, I love cheese, Doc. But, no buts. No buts. This works. And I don't care, guys, if it goes against the grain. I understand that. Look at Harvard. Harvard is saying something, so it's the silliest thing. It's one of the silliest things I've ever heard in my life. It's the exact opposite of what they said. Oh, red meat is associated with diabetes. And it's always done. These studies are always done on surveys. Food surveys. Okay? So you ask a person, how much red meat did you eat in the last month? Guys, I don't remember how much red meat I ate yesterday. Never mind last week or a month ago. Okay? Oh, wait a minute. You got cancer. How much red meat? Oh yeah, I eat red meat. Okay. Here's what they don't ask. Are you a smoker? Do you drink? Okay. Do you smoke? Do you drink? When you say red meat, do you mean a hamburger? Right? And you're eating the bun? That's sugar. See, they don't ask those questions in surveys. And they're asking people to go back 6 months or whatever in their diet. And they go, yeah, well, how many hamburgers did you eat? How much protein did you eat? I don't know. I'll make it up. Did you eat any Oreo cookies? They never ask that. How many Oreo cookies did you eat? They don't ask that question in the survey. Do you think that might affect the outcome? Do you consume cream? The guy goes, yeah, ice cream. There's a big difference, isn't it? Between cream and ice cream. Anyway, I know. I get uptight and I get a migraine and I get, I don't like nonsense. I got no stomach for it. And steak consumption down 30%, diabetes up 300%. And what are we talking about? Get rid of steak. And you know what, folks? The problem is a lot of people are going to listen to that. A lot of people I know you guys won't, but a lot of people are going to listen to that. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'm just going to continue preaching. I'm going to preach the truth. And, people don't listen. They're not Lindas, and they're not Larrys, and they're not listening. You know what? I feel for them. I really do. I feel for the general population out there because they're being duped. They're being duped. I don't like when people get duped. What deception? Yep. What deception? Okay? 2 overarching principles, and I repeat. 1, the medical profession knows nothing about food. Okay? The medical profession knows nothing about food. And the big food cares nothing for your health. You got those two things going and the pharmaceutical industry in there. And look, there's some good people. There's great doctors. And there's great people in the food industry. There are great people in the pharmaceutical industry. But when you put those conglomerates together, we're in deep trouble in our health. Look around, guys. Look what you see. We're not getting healthier. We're getting sicker by the moment. And again, you have a medical conglomerate that knows nothing about food. The only thing they know, red meat bad. Cholesterol bad. 2024, still. And then you have the food industry that don't care about your health. They really don't. And they want you to eat their products. Their sugary, bad fat, vegetable oils, and there's 8 or 10 companies, and they own all the food industry. They own it all. It's hard to change the narrative, guys. And that's why I appreciate you guys, because you're open to teaching. You're open to it. Okay? That's why I love my audience. I always tell people around me, I'll compare my audience to any podcast audience. Nobody more educated on nutrition than my audience. And that's just not my opinion. Well, yes, it is. But I'm right. Okay, guys. Tomorrow, guess what? We're answering questions again. Questions, and questions. So, question and answer Friday. Dr. Martin's ranting. I get a workout on Fridays. And Mondays too, because oftentimes we don't get to all the questions on Fridays. Okay? Okay, guys, send in your questions. Not too late. We love you dearly. We'll talk to you soon.